This is not a coincidence. You did not find this message by accident. In a world full of noise and endless scrolling, something made you stop right here. Something made your heart pause, your mind slow down, your soul listen. And that something is not random. It is God. Because before this moment ever existed, before this second touched your life, He already knew you would be here. He already saw your pain. He already felt your silent prayers, the ones you never said out loud. The nights you cried when no one noticed. The moments you felt forgotten, overlooked, unseen. God saw all of it. And He did not ignore it. You see, God does not work in accidents. He works in alignment. Every delay, every closed door, every heartbreak, every unanswered question. It was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you. Because what is coming requires a stronger version of you. A deeper faith. A quieter trust. And maybe right now you don't understand it. Maybe right now it feels confusing. Maybe you are asking, why me? But what if the real question is, why not you? Because God chose you for something greater than comfort. He chose you for purpose. He chose you for transformation. And sometimes, purpose looks like pain before it looks like promise. Sometimes growth feels like loss before it feels like blessing. But don't mistake the silence of God for the absence of God. Because in your silence, He is building. In your waiting, He is working. In your breaking, He is shaping something beautiful. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be, in the process that was designed for you. And this moment, right now, proves it. Because out of billions of voices, this is the one you are hearing. Out of countless distractions, this is what reached your heart. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. God is reminding you. He is still with you. He is reminding you, your story is not over. He is reminding you, what you feel is not the end. It is the beginning of something you cannot yet see. So breathe. Slow down. Trust again. Even when it is hard. Even when it hurts. Even when nothing makes sense. Because one day, you will look back at this very moment. And you will realize, this was the turning point. This was the moment God reached into your life and whispered, I'm not done with you yet. And when that day comes, you won't just believe anymore. You will know that this was never a coincidence. This was a message from God. And maybe, even now, a part of you is still wondering, is this really for me? Could God really be speaking to me right now? Listen carefully. Because doubt has a voice, but so does truth. And the truth is, God knows your name. He knows your story. He knows every detail you try to hide from the world. Every fear you bury. Every question you carry. Every moment you almost gave up, but didn't. That was not your strength alone. That was God holding you together, when you felt like falling apart. You thought you were barely surviving. But heaven saw you as still standing. And that matters more than you realize. Because survival is proof that purpose is still alive inside you. You are still here, for a reason. Not by chance. Not by luck. But by divine design. And the enemy may try to convince you otherwise. He may whisper that you're too broken. Too late. Too far gone. But God says, you are still chosen. Still loved. Still called. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can cancel what God has already planned for your life. Not your past. Not your mistakes. Not even your current situation. Because God specializes in turning mess into meaning. Pain into power. Loss into legacy. So don't let this season fool you. Just because it's hard, doesn't mean it's over. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is moving in ways you cannot see, setting things in place you cannot imagine, opening doors you didn't even know existed. And when it happens, it will not feel random. It will feel right. It will feel aligned. It will feel like every tear, every delay, every silent night finally makes sense. But until that moment comes, you have to trust Him here. In the middle. In the unknown. In the waiting. Because faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. And right now, He is asking you to believe again. To hope again. To rise again. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because the version of you on the other side of this is stronger, wiser, unshakable, and ready for everything God has prepared. So don't quit now. Don't turn back now. You've come too far to stop here. This message, this moment, this feeling in your heart, it's not random. It's a reminder. God is still writing your story. And the best part hasn't even begun yet. And there is something inside you. Something you can't fully explain. A quiet pull, a gentle whisper, a feeling that refuses to go away. Even when you try to ignore it. Even when life gets loud and distractions take over. That feeling is not your imagination. It is God calling you deeper. Calling you closer. Because He has been trying to reach your heart, not just your attention. He doesn't want a moment from you. He wants a relationship. And maybe that's why things around you have been shifting. Why certain people walked away. Why some doors suddenly closed. Why plans you were sure about didn't work out. It wasn't punishment. It was protection. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. God was removing what could not go where you were going. Even when it hurt. Even when it didn't make sense. Even when you begged Him to let it stay. Because He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you don't know. And He loves you too much to let you settle for less than His plan. So He disrupts your comfort. He breaks your routine. He allows the shaking so He can rebuild you stronger. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels uncertain. But growth always feels that way. Transformation is never easy. But it is always worth it. Because on the other side of this discomfort is clarity. On the other side of this confusion is purpose. On the other side of this pain is a version of you that finally understands why it had to happen this way. Why it couldn't have worked before. Why God made you wait. And when that realization comes, you won't be angry anymore. You won't question anymore. You will be grateful. Grateful for the delays. Grateful for the no's. Grateful for the silence. Because you will see, it was never empty. It was intentional. God was writing something deeper than you could feel in the moment. Something eternal. Something powerful. And right now, you are in the middle of that story. Not the end. Not the final chapter. Just the middle. Where things are still forming. Still shaping. Still becoming. So don't judge your life based on this chapter. Because God is not finished yet. And when He finishes, it will be more beautiful than you ever imagined. More meaningful than you ever expected. More powerful than anything you tried to force on your own. So hold on. Stay faithful. Keep walking, even when it's slow. Keep trusting, even when it's hard. Because this, right now, is not a coincidence. This is God, preparing you for everything you prayed for. And if you've made it this far, if your heart is still here, still listening, still holding on, then this message is not just reaching you. It is confirming something inside you. Because deep down, you already felt it. You already knew something is shifting. Something is changing, even if you can't explain how. The weight you've been carrying, it's starting to break. The fear that once controlled you, it's losing its power. And the confusion that clouded your mind is slowly clearing. That is not your imagination. That is God moving within you. Quietly, gently, powerfully. Because real change doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes, it comes in silence. In small moments. In subtle realizations. In the quiet strength you didn't know you had. And suddenly, you respond differently. You think differently. You see things differently. What once broke you no longer has the same hold on you. What once distracted you no longer feels important. Because God is renewing your mind. He is reshaping your heart. He is aligning your spirit with His purpose. And this is where everything begins to change. Not outside, but inside. Because when God changes you internally, everything externally starts to follow. Doors you once chased will begin to open on their own. People who were never meant to stay will quietly fade away. And opportunities you never expected will find their way to you. Not by force, but by alignment. And when it happens, you will recognize it. Not because it's perfect, but because it brings peace. A peace you didn't have before. A peace that doesn't make sense. A peace that reminds you God is in control. And that is how you will know. You are no longer just surviving. You are stepping into something greater. Something intentional. Something God ordained. So don't go back to what God already pulled you out of. Don't shrink back into old habits, old fears, old thinking. You didn't come this far just to return to what broke you. You came this far to become who God created you to be. And yes, the journey is not over. There will still be challenges. Still be moments of doubt. Still be days where it feels heavy again. But now, you are different. Now, you are stronger. Now, you know. God is with you. And that changes everything. Because when God is with you, no obstacle is greater than your purpose. No delay is stronger than His timing. No fear is louder than His promise. So stand firm. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting what you cannot yet see. Because this transformation, this growth, this shift in your life, it is not random. It is not coincidence. It is God leading you exactly where you are meant to be. And now, you're beginning to feel it more clearly. That quiet strength rising inside you. That calm you didn't have before. That unexplainable peace, even in the middle of uncertainty. This is what happens when you stop fighting God's process and start trusting His timing. Because for so long, you tried to control everything. You tried to fix it all. You tried to rush what was never meant to be rushed. And it left you tired, drained, overwhelmed. But now, something is different. Now you're learning to release, to let go, to surrender what you cannot carry anymore. And in that surrender, you are finding freedom. Because God never asked you to figure everything out. He asked you to trust Him, to walk with Him, to believe, even when you don't understand. And that kind of faith changes everything. It changes how you see your struggles. It changes how you handle your pain. It changes how you move through life. Because now you know you are not walking alone. God is with you in every step, in every decision, in every uncertain moment, guiding you, protecting you, strengthening you. Even when you don't feel it, even when you don't see it, He is there, working behind the scenes of your life, aligning things you cannot yet understand, and preparing blessings you didn't even know to ask for. So don't go back to worry. Don't go back to fear. Don't go back to trying to control what only God can handle. Because the moment you let go is the moment God takes over. And when God takes over, things begin to fall into place. Not always instantly. Not always easily. But always perfectly, in His time. So trust this season. Trust this process. Trust what God is doing in your life right now. Even if it feels slow. Even if it feels unclear. Because slow does not mean stopped. And unclear does not mean wrong. It just means God is still working. And He is not finished yet. Your breakthrough is not a dream. Your purpose is not an illusion. Your calling is not too far away. It is being built, right now, in this very moment. So stay patient. Stay faithful. Stay connected to God. Because what is coming next will not only answer your prayers, it will exceed everything you ever imagined. And when it finally arrives, you will understand why everything had to happen this way. Why the waiting was necessary. Why the process took time. Why God led you through every step. Because it was never a coincidence. It was always His plan. And as you stand here, in this moment, you may not have all the answers. You may not see the full picture. But something inside you knows. You are not the same anymore. The person you used to be is slowly fading. The fear that once controlled you is losing its grip. The doubt that once filled your mind is getting quieter. Because God is doing something deep within you. Something real. Something lasting. He is not just changing your situation. He is changing you. Your mindset. Your spirit. Your identity. And that kind of change cannot be taken away. Because when God transforms you from the inside, no external storm can destroy what He has built. And yes, storms will still come. Challenges will still rise. Moments will still test your faith. But now, you are rooted differently. Now, you are grounded in something stronger than your circumstances. You are grounded in God. And that changes how you face everything. You don't panic like before. You don't break like before. You don't give up like before. Because now you know. God didn't bring you this far to leave you here. He didn't carry you through all that pain just to abandon you now. Every step, every struggle, every silent battle. It all had a purpose. It all had meaning. Even the things you wish never happened. Even the chapters you try to forget. God is using all of it. Nothing is wasted. Not your tears. Not your time. Not your effort. Not your faith. Everything is being woven together for something greater. Something bigger than what you can see right now. And one day, you will look back at this season. Not with pain, but with gratitude. Because you will realize, this was the season that built you. This was the season that changed you. This was the season that brought you closer to God than ever before. So don't rush out of it. Don't try to escape it. Walk through it. Grow through it. Trust God through it. Because on the other side of this is a life that reflects His purpose. A peace that nothing can shake. A strength that nothing can break. And a faith that nothing can destroy. So keep going. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Because what God started in your life, He will finish. And when He does, there will be no doubt left in your heart. No question left in your mind. You will know, without a shadow of doubt, that every moment, every delay, every step was never a coincidence. It was God leading you all along. And right now, in this very second, God is closer than you think. Not far away. Not distant. Not silent in the way you once believed. He is here. Right beside you, right within this moment. Listening to every thought, feeling every emotion, understanding every unspoken word. Because you don't have to explain everything to God. He already knows. He knows the battles you don't talk about. The pressure you carry behind your smile. The weight that sits on your heart when everything gets quiet. And even then, He stays. He doesn't walk away when it gets hard. He doesn't leave when you feel weak. He doesn't turn His back when you question Him. He remains steady, faithful, unchanging. And that is the kind of love this world cannot give you. A love that doesn't depend on your perfection. A love that doesn't fade when you make mistakes. A love that holds you together, even when you feel like you're falling apart. So why do you still feel alone sometimes? Because you've been listening to the wrong voice. The voice of fear. The voice of doubt. The voice that tells you, you're by yourself in this. But you're not. You never were. And you never will be. Because God promised. He would never leave you. Never forsake you. And God does not break His promises. So even in your lowest moments, even in your darkest nights, even when it feels like everything is against you, God is still for you. Working things out in your favor. Protecting you from things you don't even see. Holding you back from paths that would have broken you. And guiding you towards something better. Something greater. Something that aligns with your purpose. So trust Him here. Trust Him now. Not just when everything makes sense, but especially when it doesn't. Because this is where real faith is built. Not in comfort, but in uncertainty. Not in clarity, but in confusion. And the faith you are building right now will carry you through seasons you haven't even reached yet. It will sustain you, strengthen you, stabilize you, when everything else feels unstable. So don't give up in this moment. Don't let doubt win. Don't let fear take control again. Because you are too close now. Closer than you've ever been. Closer to your breakthrough. Closer to your purpose. Closer to the life God has been preparing for you. And this feeling you have right now. This pull, this connection, this quiet assurance. It's real. It's God reminding you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. This is not the end. This is the moment before everything begins. And now, this is the moment. The moment where everything you've been feeling, everything you've been hearing, everything stirring inside your soul, comes down to one decision. Will you trust God, or will you go back to fear? Will you move forward in faith, or stay stuck in what feels familiar? Because you can't stay the same after this. Not after everything God has shown you. Not after everything you've felt in your heart. This is not just another message. This is a turning point. A divine interruption. A moment that was designed specifically for you. And what you do next matters. Because God has been patient with you. He has waited for this moment. Not to pressure you, but to invite you to step into something greater. To let go of the old version of you. The one that doubted. The one that feared. The one that kept settling for less. And to step into the person He created you to be. Strong. Faithful. Unshakable. Aligned with His purpose. But stepping into that version of you requires courage. It requires trust. It requires surrender. Because you can't carry your past into your future. You can't hold on to fear and walk in faith at the same time. You have to choose. Right here. Right now. And maybe it feels scary. Maybe it feels uncertain. Maybe you're thinking, what if I fail? But what if you don't? What if this is the moment that changes everything? What if this is the step that leads you into everything you've been praying for? Because God is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be willing. Willing to trust Him. Willing to follow Him. Willing to believe that He knows what He's doing. Even when you don't. And if you can do that, if you can take that step, even with fear in your heart, then everything begins to shift. Doors will open. Paths will become clear. Strength will rise within you. Not because of who you are alone, but because of who God is within you. So this is your moment. Your decision. Your turning point. Don't ignore it. Don't scroll past it. Don't go back to the life God is trying to bring you out of. Step forward. Choose faith. Choose trust. Choose God. Because one day, you will look back at this exact moment, and you will realize, this was the moment everything changed. This was the moment you said yes to God. And that yes led you to a life you never thought was possible. Because it was never a coincidence. It was always God, calling you, choosing you, guiding you. Every step of the way.